Yesterday in the Morpheus Crypto chat room, we highlighted two potential short setups for our members, ETH short and BNB short. Now both have followed through to the downside and are showing gains of 6% and 5% respectively since our mention. In today's video, we will walk through those short setups and take a look at where the market may be headed next. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Let's dive in. In our previous video, we focused on the fact that both Bitcoin and Ethereum had just closed below their 20-week moving averages for the first time this year. We indicated that such a close would indicate an intermediate-term trend reversal and could result in lower prices. So it's not surprising that Ethereum is headed lower given the key break of technical support. And in that video, we had also mentioned that the next major support level and a downside target is the 50-week moving average, right around the 1560 level. So you can see this red line here, that's the 50-week moving average, and the blue line being the 20-week moving average that Ethereum just broke down below. So you can see that the price is on the way to that 50-week moving average, a little more than halfway towards that downside profit target that we mentioned. Now, zooming into the shorter term daily chart, we highlighted yesterday in the chat room that Ethereum was forming a bear flag pattern, consolidating near its lows since the June 10 sell-off. And we did follow through to the downside with that bear flag pattern with a break below the June 10th low of 1715, which resulted in a sharp sell-off all the way down to a low of right around the 1620 level. So now that we've broken that support, there's not a whole lot to catch it until we get down to that 50-week moving average, which we can see again on the weekly chart right around the 1560 level. For any Morpheus Crypto members who sold short Ethereum when we mentioned it yesterday, consider using a trailing stop just above the 10-day moving average, this green line. So as the price moves lower, we want to continue to trail that stop tighter. So currently, we wouldn't want to see the price action get above yesterday's high at the very highest, but we could actually lock in some profits along the way if it starts to bounce. But as a maximum, we wouldn't want to see the price get back above the 1740 level. Ideally, the price shouldn't get back above the prior lows of the 4-day lows around 1715. Now, the other short setup we mentioned in the chat room yesterday is BNB short, and BNB is the coin for Binance Exchange. And this trade is currently showing a 5% gain for Morpheus Crypto members since our mention yesterday. So it's pretty cool when the market is moving lower and we're still able to make profits on the short side. And that's what swing trading is all about, catching the swings on both sides of the market. Now let's go ahead and dive in and take a look at the chart of BNB and why we entered this short setup. Now, if we take a look here, this is the weekly chart, and this yellow uptrend line you see represents an uptrend line that's been in place since the lows of June 2022. And we just broke below that uptrend line last week with that June 10th sell-off that we had. And that caused a break of the uptrend line that's been in place for basically a full year. And so that's a pretty negative change of trend there. And furthermore, if we look at this prior swing low from December of 2022, we've got a low right around $220. And if we can see that we actually bounced off that low this week, exactly right at the 220 level. Now, if that bounce fails to get any more momentum, there's a very good chance that we'll break below this 220 level and form a lower low. Now, if we do, then we will probably see a test of this June 2022 low right around the 183 area. But if that level breaks, well, there's really not much to catch BNB in the way of price support until all the way down at the $50 level from back in 2021. So potentially there's a very positive risk reward in this trade setup. Of course, we always got to use stops just in case the trade doesn't work out. And if you're currently a paid subscriber of Morpheus Crypto, then be sure to check out the trade alert for our exact stop price. And we will continue to trail that stop lower to lock in profits as the price action allows. But for now, this trade setup is looking pretty good. We did get a little bit of a bounce today, but we're unable to get back above that uptrend line, which now is acting as resistance. So keep an eye on BNB as we look for further follow through to the downside, depending on overall market conditions. Now let's take a look at the performance of Bitcoin as a benchmark and proxy for the overall crypto market. We can see here that Bitcoin has also broken below the 20-week moving average, as we mentioned earlier, and is headed lower And we've got the 50-week moving average support right around the 22,350 area. So if Bitcoin continues lower, expect to find support around 22,350. However, that being said, Bitcoin does look a little bit better than Ethereum here because, as you can see, we've got horizontal price support right around the 24,800 area. This was the prior highs from back in July and August of 2022, as well as earlier this year. So that should now act as support. Furthermore, as we see the SEC on their witch hunt after the altcoins, we may see more money continue to flow into Bitcoin itself, which would be bullish for Bitcoin dominance index and bullish for Bitcoin. So that's why we did not sell short Bitcoin and chose to sell short Ethereum as a potential trade idea, and BNB as well. Now, the Morpheus Crypto trading strategy is a trend following strategy. So that means that we trade on both sides of the market depending on the market's dominant trend. Now, as you know, Bitcoin and Ethereum just broke below their 20-week moving averages last week. So what that means is prior to last week, throughout 2023, we've been trading on the long side of the market, buying altcoins with top relative strength after they break out and then pull back. That's been working out well for us, but now we've got a dominant trend reversal with the momentum definitely reversing to the downside after breaking below these 20-week moving averages. But that doesn't mean that we just want to suddenly start short selling everything, because just like we wait for low risk entry points when we're buying, we also wait for low risk entry points when we're selling short. So what that means, generally speaking, is that we're looking for bounces to sell short into resistance, and we look to buy just as we look to buy pullbacks on the long side of the market. Now, in terms of the long side of the market, we've been keeping an eye out because obviously we're not opposed to getting long, even though the market is in a downtrend. But there really hasn't been much that has grabbed our attention. Just about every altcoin is heading lower with the overall market right now, but we do continue to keep an eye out for potential signs of relative strength. Just a few cryptos to keep an eye on, though, on the long side. Let's take a look real quick. First up, we have TOMO. We mentioned TOMO in our last video as being one of the only altcoins out there still trading above its 10, 20, and 50-day moving averages in a steady uptrend. So you can see here just climbing steadily higher over the past several months, virtually ignoring the recent weakness and break of support in Bitcoin and Ethereum. However, in this type of market condition, we're not expecting a lot of follow through to the upside. And you can see these wicks on the candlesticks indicate the indecision, where every time it attempts to break out, sellers step in. And that's what you get when you're trying to trade on the wrong side of the market, is you get a lack of follow through. But nonetheless, TOMO definitely deserves a spot on your relative strength watch list, because when the buyers do eventually return, this could end up being a new leader in the next bull phase. LINA is definitely worth keeping an eye on. Now, first thing I'll say is the daily chart is kind of a mess. We had a big rally from 10 cents all the way up to 26 cents back in late May. So in just about a week, the price nearly tripled. However, notice that since then, the price has given back all of those gains, in fact, and then some, undercutting that prior low from the breakout. However, then we had a nice big bounce over the past week, where we rallied up to a high of just over 18 cents before pulling back. Now, the daily chart is a mess, right? So this is not the type of pattern, just to be clear, this is not the type of pattern we'd want to trade on the long side. Nevertheless, it has been showing increasing relative strength, currently holding above its 10 and 50-day moving averages. Fundamentally, LINA is a Hong Kong-based crypto that targets the Hong Kong market, and Hong Kong just recently opened up to crypto trading, which we find interesting and could be one of the reasons that we've been seeing higher volume stepping in, despite the negative news of the SEC chasing down altcoins in the US. Again, just to summarize, we don't want to be on the long side of the market right now. We want to ride the momentum, follow the trend, and right now that trend is down. So the Morpheus Crypto portfolio officially short BNB with currently a 5% gain. We also mentioned ETH short, which continues to head lower towards our profit target of the 20-week moving average. If you're new to Morpheus Crypto, head on over to the morpheustrading.com website and learn more about our Morpheus Crypto service by pressing the Crypto Picks link. And we'll see you back here in our next video. Remember to trade what you see, not what you think.